What's going on, man? Happy Super Bowl week to all who celebrates from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. If you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. I don't know. I like to see who has the first commercial. Will it be Doritos or Chevrolet this year? We're going to find out. FanDuel also has ways to end the season with a dub, 2 or 3. Not only can you bet on who will win Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel also has bets for which player will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. Don't forget, new customers joining today, you will get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/UCSS. Make every moment with FanDuel, the official sports book of partners of the NFL.
Hey, real quick, Earl, one more thing. Love you guys.
So,
love you guys.
If anyone watched the Cleveland Cavaliers Sacramento Kings game last night, it was a Cavalanche from the get-go. Then they couldn't miss in the second quarter. Then they couldn't miss in the third quarter. Then the fourth quarter came around, they missed one shot, then they made 7 more. They shot 58% from the floor, 56% from 3. They beat the Kings, who are a pretty impressive and talented Western Conference team, by 26 points. That's 14 of their last 15. The question today isn't, are they the favorites to win the title? We'll talk about that later come playoff time. The question I want to ask you today, and Jason, we'll start with you, Tyvis, you follow up. Right now, today, on February 6, 2024, are the Cavs playing better basketball than any other team in the NBA?
Well, that's different than are they the best team in the league?
Well, fine, let's go with the best team in the league.
No, they're not the best team in the league. Come on.
But are they playing the best right now?
Yeah, sure, they're the hottest team in the league right now. When you win 14 to 15, you're playing like this. Are they the best team in the league? No, they're not better than Boston. I still think people want to poo-poo Milwaukee. You do that at your own risk. That's a championship caliber team that added a dynamite player in Dame. We go back to the NFL conversation when I said the Chiefs were bored all year and everyone talked me out of it by the end. Look where the Chiefs are. They're in the Super Bowl.
You talked yourself out of it,
the
in
Bucks,
all honesty.
No, everyone else here. I'm blaming everybody else. I can't take responsibility for my own actions. It's the same thing with the Bucks.
Yeah,
they're going to be there at the end. The West, Denver's still loaded. So until the Cavs win more than one playoff game, you can't call them the best team in the league. But they're playing great. They're playing exactly how they wanted to play. This is looking exactly how they wanted it to look. They've got the shooting that they pursued in the offseason with Strus and Yang and those guys. Dean Wade has put it together this year after struggling miserably last year in the second half. Now they got everybody healthy. They got the 2 towers inside defensively. Donovan leading it all. That's why they made the trade. I wrote that for today. This is why they made that trade, was to bring together a young, talented team that didn't know how to win and didn't know how to get where they wanted to go. It was his job to do that. He's done it very, very well. They've played great. They're hot. Enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. But you can't call them the best team in the league right now.
Ty?
I don't disagree with that. When you talk about as far as winning goes, like winning meaningful games in the postseason, no, you can't. But right now, the way that they are playing, if they continue to play, you're getting scoring and effort from everybody, and I think that's the one thing that I like. Like right now, it don't look like it's a weak link. Like when you watch them, like last night, like there's nothing that they lack. Last year we said it was shooting. They shot 3 really well last night. They're getting inside. Evan Mobley is healthy again. Now that dude right there, he got to figure something out because he's still trying to find his place, how he fits in. He did a lot of touch passing yesterday, which I feel like, he gave up a good shot to give it to a greater shot. So I respect him for doing that. But to me, I think he's still trying to find his role in this lineup. And right now, the scoring isn't there, but he is distributing the basketball in a decent fashion. I expect that to pick up. But Evan Mobley is back on track. He's getting rebounds and he's scoring inside. Jared Allen continues to still do what he's been doing. He's scoring inside the paint. Obviously, he didn't. Evan Mobley stole all the rebounds yesterday, so that's that. And you're still getting some really good shooting. Donovan Mitchell's doing a great job shooting. Sam Merrill came in off the bench. Karis LeVert is the one that really, if he comes off the bench and he's scoring and is effective, they really got something going. So I really like the whole, pieces, all the pieces that they have is finally coming together for this team. So I would say that, yes, right now they are playing the best, and right now they look like the best. Now, I understand that they haven't won anything in the playoffs, and we will see, but at this very moment, there's not too many teams that I think can, beat them right now.
I think that's all fair. And to Jason's point, I would not pick them to win the NBA title right now.
No.
I don't think they should be considered the favorites to win the title. And I think there are other teams that are built and proven more in the playoffs than the Cleveland Cavaliers at the moment. However, I do think there is a case to be made, and I'm going to lay it out for you guys, that over the last month and a half, close to 2 months now, the Cavs have been the most consistent and best team in basketball. You go back to December 15th when both Darius Garland and Evan Mobley got hurt. They were 13-12 in 9th place in the Eastern Conference. Since then, they're 19-4. Compare that to Boston, who started the season 26-6. They're 11-6 in their last 17 games. The Cavs are 19-4. They're playing better than any other team in basketball. They've moved up to 2nd place in the Eastern Conference. And the one thing when you look about who's the best team in basketball, you have to have that killer 5-man group that you know when push comes to shove, these are the 5 guys I need on the court right now, today, not in 3 months, not in the playoffs, like today. This is the 5-man lineup that can compete with any other lineup in basketball. Right now, since January 1st, this is not for the playoffs. I'm just saying right now, today, at the moment.
Yes.
Since January 1st, the 5-man lineup of Mitchell, Strus, Okoro, Dean Wade, and Evan Mobley have a net rating of 26.3. Now you're going to ask, what does that mean? It's essentially how much better they are when they're on the court versus not. Of any lineup in basketball since January 1st that's played at least 10 games together in that span, that is the single best 5-man lineup in basketball. And not just by a little bit, by a ginormous gap. 2nd place, 26.3 for the Cavs. Try 18.7 for the Clippers. Kawhi, Paul George, James Harden, Terrence Mann, and Mason Plumlee. It's almost 8.5 points over a 2-month or a month-and-a-half stretch now that 5-man lineup's been better. So they could put that 5-man lineup against anyone and feel damn good about it. And the fact that they're making shots at the rate they are right now, they made 23 threes last night.
Yeah, no.
In the last 8 games, Dean Wade is shooting 51% from 3. Okoro's shooting 47%. Merrill's shooting 48% from 3. They got weapons all over the floor. I think there's a case made that right now they're playing better than any other team in the NBA.
I think that the interesting one, what is, I don't know if y'all know this off the top of your head, what is Boston's starting 5 right now?
When they're healthy or right now?
Right
I'm not
now.
sure exactly if they're 100% healthy. But they go Derek White, Drew Holiday, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis. That's their closing 5.
See, okay,
And that's a tough matchup for teams because they're giant.
They're
And
long
I'm
and
massive.
athletic.
And I'm
Yeah.
thinking about the Cavs against that lineup. Right now, our starting lineup is Garland, Mitchell. Is it Okoro running the 3?
No.
Strus.
Mobley and Allen.
and Allen. How does that match up? Because Porzingis does a great job of pulling bigs out of the paint. So if Jared Allen is out of the paint, Mobley is checking who?
Probably Tatum.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Do you feel good about anyone guarding Jason Tatum, though?
No, but that's not the point, though. Like,
He's as good an option as
I
almost
think,
anybody.
but what makes Boston so good is that their center is a 5 and he sits out the paint, which makes the rebounding aspect.
Yeah.
It takes their big man out of the rebound aspect. I like the fact that Mobley is still there to get rebounds because it'll because Tatum's really good at getting boards. But as far as defending goes, that kind of scares me a little bit.
There's 2 conversations we're having. There's the regular season conversation and there's the postseason conversation.
Very different. I
Now,
agree.
which conversation do you want to have? Do you want to have the regular season or do you want to have the post? I'm not trying to be a jerk.
We're trying to Bull has sat in this very chair and said that the regular season is meaningless.
Well, it's not meaningless if you use it the right way to prepare your team.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What Jason said, yeah.
They need to find out how they would match up to what they would do. Right now, use the regular season to figure out how you would match up to that in the postseason.
And I'm telling you right now, because I've been poking around on this for the last couple of weeks, I've been reaching out to opposing teams that I've got relationships with and say, like, how'd you guard these guys? If you were playing the Cavs in a postseason series, how would you guard them? And a couple of the answers that came back were, we don't trust Okoro yet in a postseason series. Like, you're going to shrink off Isaac. The same way the Knicks played the Cavs last year is how teams are going to defend them again. Isaac has to prove it. He's shooting 39% now on catch and shoot threes. Don't matter. Teams don't trust. It's a different game in the postseason. The pressure goes up. The stress level goes up. In each round you advance, it gets higher and higher and higher. And teams don't believe in him yet. And they're going to shrink off him and force him to make those shots.
So, well, I would say that would probably be the same thing for Evan Mobley then.
The difference is Mobley's only going to shoot a couple of those more than likely, and he's viewed as a better all-around player than Isaac Okoro in the NBA.
Okoro's also going to be stationed in the corner.
Yeah, Okoro is going to stand in the corner and don't move and wait for the ball.
So but he's coming off the bench.
Okoro?
Yes.
Yeah. And Sam's another one. I asked JB last night, is there room in your rotation for Sam when everybody's healthy and there's no minutes restrictions? And grudgingly, JB's like, I can't sit here and tell you he hasn't earned it. Like, he's earned it.
Yeah.
He doesn't like playing 10. JB doesn't like playing 10. He ideally likes to play 9, which is common. Mm-hmm. But he said, we've got 10 guys who have earned it, so we're going to play 10 guys. Now, that's the regular season. In the postseason, you're really going to play 10? And I think there's a spot for Sam. And he's shooting it. Every time he's out there, he's making 2 and 3 threes.
It's crazy.
You can't keep him off the floor, but you have to be strategic in when you play him in a postseason series because the game's going to slow down. It's going to become a half-court game.
Yeah.
And defensively, he's going to have to guard.
That's what I was about to ask. How is he defensive?
And he's deficient, but when you've got Evan and Jarrett behind him,
it's easy.
It cleans things up. And if you're playing pick and roll defense, or if you're getting beat, if you get beat off the dribble, if you're an on-ball defender and you know you're going to get beat, at least funnel him the right way. Funnel him the way that the defense is set up, and funnel him into those guys the right way. And then it's up to Evan and Jarrett to clean it up on the back end.
You make him sound like the dude from the Heat, Duncan Robinson.
In a way. I mean, yeah,
He
in a
can
way.
shoot threes, but he ain't really good defensively.
Could I reel this back, though, one sec? We'll get to
Yeah.
the playoffs when we get there. There's a lot of basketball to be played. There's injuries. I mean, we're talking about Boston and their lineup. Porzingis is never healthy, so there's no guarantee he'll be around.
Right.
So let's bring it back to the regular season, though, right now, because everything you say about the playoffs is obviously true, and we can talk to as many coaches from other teams as you want. You're going to get pretty consistent answers. They have to make shots before we're going to guard them, and that's kind of how you attack it. But right now, at least in the moment, the Cavs don't have a weak link. They're going 10, even sometimes, if you want to count Craig Porter Jr., 11 deep, and everyone's contributing. You texted me last night asking the Cavs the deepest team in basketball.
Yeah.
And I was driving home, quick search, they're definitely in the conversation. The fact that on any given night, you can go 10, 11 deep, and that's without Tristan Thompson, by the way.
I was going to mention him.
So
he's
really,
a usable piece.
Really 12 deep if you consider all the pieces, or the cupboard's fully available. Everybody's contributing, and they're still figuring out how to play certain guys together, how to best maximize each person's talent when guys are together just because injuries, they haven't had so much time yet. I still think there's another level this offense and defense can go before we reach the postseason. I still think they've won 14 of 15. They're 19-4 since December 15th. I think this team could play even higher level of basketball in the regular season, which is a scary thought for their 29 teams around the league.
I mean, from where they were to where they are today has shown you that they have the room for improvement, and they've made those adjustments. And you got to think that it's just about not getting complacent. You winning games, but over the course of those games, just things that's happening that you can work on and get better at. If they really become petty and become obsessed with trying to really get better, then it's another level. It's always another level. I mean, Kobe said that. Go higher. When you think you made it, go higher. I think when I think about this Cavs team, to me, the regular season, the postseason, and anything else, I think it comes down to 3 to 4 guys. It comes down to Okoro, Wade, Merrill, and LeVert.
Roll guys.
If those 4 guys, because the one thing that gets me is I don't think it's somebody outside of Tristan. There's nobody that's been there that's won it.
No, right? No, Niang's played a ton of playoff games, though.
Yeah.
Won it.
Struce been in a
won it.
No, yeah, just Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think that to me is vital. That's something that because I feel like that's what was missing last year. Outside of the shooting, of course, I think you just need that one veteran that's been there.
I hear what you're saying, and Mike wants to talk regular season. I keep talking postseason, but if you're talking postseason, it ain't those dudes. Stars win in the postseason. It's Donovan.
That's why I said I'm
Darius
trying to keep it regular season.
Evan, that's the postseason conversation. It's those dudes.
Yeah.
But for the regular season, sure, yeah, you need those guys. I mean, Dean Wade, the reason they moved on from Kevin Love right around this time last year was because of the faith that they had in Dean Wade. And Dean fell off a cliff from that point to the rest of the season. So he needs to maintain at this level. He needs to continue playing at the level that he's playing at from now until April. Sam has to keep shooting it this well. He's the one that's going to get cut from this rotation if he stops shooting it.
Yeah.
Like if he's the most vulnerable.
He's the first one gone.
Yeah. If they got to cut the rotation, he's the one who's going. Okoro fills a need because of how ferocious he is defensively on the perimeter. He's the best on-ball defender. LeVert is going to play. He's hot and cold usually. He's very streaky, but his spot is secure. So they just need, I don't know that you can always get better. Yes, you can always improve. But I think that this is probably.
It's close.
I think this is about as good as they can play because if Garland gets hot, he's just going to take the shots that other guys are right now making.
Here's the one thing, and I want to go back. Don't forget to come back to the point about the 5-man lineup I mentioned. But I think the one area where they can legitimately get better within the regular season, as Garland and Mobley kind of get their legs back under them and get more familiar with this. I don't call it new style of all. Everyone's played this style before. It's not groundbreaking. JB didn't invent a new triangle. Right. But it's just as they get familiar with these guys, I do think there is a scenario where Donovan Mitchell, who's become the de facto point guard in this system, has flourished. This is the best Donovan Mitchell has ever played.
Yes.
However good you thought Donovan Mitchell was, he has taken his game to the next level. To where when the Cavs made the trade and gave up all that, and you're like, well, do you give up all that for a top 15, 20 guy, not a top 5 guy? Well, he's playing like a top 5 guy in the NBA right now. He's playing that well. There is a level where Donovan's playmaking ability unlocks so much for Darius. And I know opportunities come and go. Like, that may mean Donovan's numbers come down slightly because more of it's going to Garland. But there's still an opportunity for those two to find that unique mesh of two guys that want the ball, but also flourish and play off each other's ability to create space and opportunities for each other. That takes this offense from we're going to get a lot of open threes and make a lot of open threes to we're getting wide-ass open looks anytime we want. That's like the next tiny little crack, I think, or wrinkle that can still be improved upon in the regular season.
Two things on that. One, the Cavs are very comfortable with Darius in an off-ball role. They are adamant that he will be fine playing without the ball in his hands. He did it at times when Colin was here. So they don't have any concerns about that. I know others do, but internally they don't have any concerns about that. And secondly, I think the thing that would unlock them and take them to another level is the Evan Mobley component.
That's the next one, yeah.
Yeah, if he can consistently make threes. I wrote about it the other night, and people went crazy. And I'm like, guys, JB just said it. Like, I don't know why you're mad at me. JB's the one who said it, that he needs to take these threes. And obviously he needs to make them too. But didn't
you write that before he went 3 for 3?
He did.
Yeah.
Because JB said, we need Evan to shoot those shots.
And he went 3 for 3.
And he went 3 for 3.
28 points.
Now, he only shot one last night and missed it. And honestly, I didn't even see it. I missed it.
It was early in the game. It was.
But those two things could take this even higher. I'm telling you, Mobley, some people seem to be souring on him a little bit, that he's not as good as everyone says. I'm telling you right now, if he develops a 3-point consistent shot, he doesn't have to shoot 5, 6, 7, 8 a night. 3, 4. If he's averaging 3.5, 3.8, and I said this before, go back and look at Draymond, peak Draymond, not now. Look at prime Draymond in 2015, 2016, 2017 on those Warriors teams. He was shooting it at a pretty good clip, the 3-point shot. If Evan develops that, he will be an MVP candidate for a very long time in the NBA. That's the only thing that's missing.
He had some moves yesterday, and I know he didn't shoot. The percentages weren't good. He missed a bunch around the rim, but some of the moves he made yesterday, my issue with Evan's the consistency.
Yeah.
It's not the ability. The ability's there. Potential's
there.
But he had a move yesterday in transition, and he's a legit 6'11", 7 foot.
Yeah.
When you see Evan Mobley walk around, like, there's no doubt that he's one of the freak alien type NBA specimen athletes. And he came down on the right wing yesterday in transition and did a little step through, rip around, and finish with the left hand. And there's like 7 guys in the world who can do that. And that's kind of what's frustrating about Mobley.
But he's 22.
No, but
no,
it's granted. Like, but you see other guys like I don't want to compare Mobley to other guys, but a guy like Chet Holmgren comes in and it's just more consistent. You just see it on a night in, night out basis, which we haven't seen from Mobley yet. But the ceiling for Mobley is still there.
Yes.
And if he can make threes at even – Jay asked the question yesterday, asked me, how many threes do you want Mobley to take? And I was like, however many they leave him wide ass open.
I want him to take between 120 and 130 the rest of the season.
That's fine. He asked, he's like, 1 a game, 2 a game, and I was like, well, if they leave him open 8 times, I want him to shoot 8 threes.
Yeah.
If they're guarding, I don't want him taking 3 threes,
I
like
just
if he's
want him to
contested.
just shoot it.
But
shoot
if
it
he's
in.
open,
I mean, you
shoot
don't
it.
want him dribbling at the top of the arc and trying to take his guy out and off balance.
I'm talking catch and shoot. You
Yeah.
know, Donovan drives to the hole and kicks it to him, and he's there. Shoot it.
Don't
Yes.
hesitate.
Yeah,
Let it fly.
Even when he went 3 for 3, it still was a slight hesitation on the shot. Now, and maybe that's his thing, and he got his. That's
He
his
is a
form.
slow jump shot, but
And then I'm just like, just
JB
all like, just let it go.
when I was talking to JB about it before I wrote that column, and JB said a lot of times he's processing the next play when he's got the ball, and by the time it processes, I should shoot this, he's out of rhythm or the defense is caught up to him, and he just has to be quicker with it. He just has to be catch it and go.
same thing when he catches it on a little pocket pass in the pick and roll.
Yeah.
Jared Allen's got really good at making these split-second, on-the-fly decisions to either kick it to the corner, take his own shot, or do whatever. Mobley has the ability to process, just has to speed up that tiny little bit. Earl, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question for Jason. So I've heard Brad Daugherty speak about Evan Mobley a lot, and this was maybe about a year ago that he talked about Evan Mobley's development and him being this unicorn and reaching his full potential. And he's somebody that believed that Evan Mobley doesn't have to develop this consistent three-point shot to reach his overall potential because he has so many different weapons in his toolbox or so many different tools in his toolbox that he can go to that makes him so lethal. Jason, to that you say what?
I mean, I don't like disagreeing with Brad Daugherty, who's better at basketball than I would ever be in my lifetime. He knows what he's talking about. But just watching how the game is played today, I think he does need to develop a three-point. He needs to develop – he certainly needs to at least develop more consistency around the rim. His mid-range is even shaky at times. But I believe to be a top player in this league, the way the game is played today, the way bigs are expected to play the game today, he does need to develop that three-point shot in order to be – I'm talking the elite of the elite, top 5 franchise pillar in the NBA who's consistently – in the running for MVP talk. Now, Giannis is not that. Giannis
He's
ain't
giving
a three-point
Giannis
shooter.
credit. He's about to compliment Giannis.
hit threes. What you talking about?
Giannis ain't a consistent three-point shooter, but he is so big and strong and massive. And Evan's never going to be that physically. I don't think.
People didn't think Giannis would be because Giannis came in looking like Evan did.
Yeah, but they knew Giannis had come from Greece and was undernourished and never had food growing up. Like, there's a big difference than.
But there's been a
situation
progression
Mobley.
to Giannis from when he was 19,
Yeah.
building to where he is. Evan looks a lot at 22 like he did at 19. I don't know that it's going to come for him. I think he's always going to be a little bit smaller in
He better
frame.
go ask Giannis what he did.
Giannis ate enough food for. I mean, if you haven't read Giannis's autobiography, one of the best. I mean, then you know he never had food till he was 19.
I didn't read it. I audio booked it.
Same thing. So you heard the story.
Yeah.
I mean, Giannis didn't have food.
They used to have to give him snacks and stuff, and his teammates would bring extra food for him, and he would always decline and then lie and say he ate and stuff like that. Sad.
Wow. Yeah.
The videos of him pre-draft
Like
were
grainy.
incredible. Yeah, and like 2 dribbles. I've never seen anything like it. And the Cavs missed badly on Giannis. That was the Anthony Bennett draft. And I talked to people who looked at Giannis and said, I mean, maybe he's a second-round pick, but I wouldn't go any higher than that.
Nobody was high on him.
It was 15th overall, right?
13, I think. I think the Bucks got him at 13. Anthony Bennett, Victor Oladipo.
C.J. McCollum, Porter Jr. Otto Porter Jr. was the 3rd pick that year.
Otto, yeah.
That's a bad draft.
Yeah,
I mean, Giannis saved it, but that's a bad draft.
That was one of the worst drafts ever.
Earl, last thing, because we brought it up, then we'll move on to the next topic. But we were talking about the 5-man lineup earlier. I talked about the Cavs 5-man lineup that's been the best in the NBA in the last month and a half in the regular season. I don't think that's the closing lineup in the playoffs. I do think at the end of the day, Darius Garland has to be in the 5
Absolutely.
to close the playoff game. Like, I think that's a non-negotiable. He brings stuff, and to your point with the teams laying off Okoro and Mobley and other guys, the one guy in the playoffs last year who didn't piss down his pants was Darius.
Yeah.
And we know when push comes to shove, and when he gets his legs back, I think we'll see more of it.
Yeah.
He is a legitimate secondary, or first, depending on the team with the Cavs with Mitchell, he's secondary. Secondary playmaker they just don't have in anyone else on the roster. I understand that 5-man lineup right now in the regular season works, and has been good as any lineup, but come postseason time, DG has to be in that 5.
I think what you just said was outstanding. I think when you think about last year, because that's where Cavs fans are. We can't get – it looks good and we're enjoying it, but we've seen this before. We've seen it
There's a
just
ceiling.
last year.
Yeah, there's a ceiling.
And we've seen what they did in the postseason. I think last year was the true tell that there's a difference between the regular season and the postseason. And
Tried to tell you.
for this.
So did he. Not you, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Try
oh,
to let
okay.
him
Yeah, I
know.
was going to say, yeah. She's talking about. I already know that. Anyways, I think that it was just so many people that didn't show up. And Darius did. So I think that kind of, right now, Darius is looking like, okay right now because he's coming back. But I think once he figures it out and figures out his role, he does know, like, when they come push this up, if you give me the ball, I can get us something. And that's important moving forward.
You have to give people an opportunity to fail and grow and learn from it. And you hope that that's what happened last year. I don't remember Darius playing as well as you guys say it. I think he had 1 or 2 good games, but he also had some games that were absolute clunkers in there.
One or two.
Well, everybody else.
One or two is better than
none.
0, 0,
Yeah.
0.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that like Darius carried them through that Knicks series.
Listen, Darius
He
had.
did have some.
Darius,
he had a couple good games.
I can't remember what game.
Game 2.
It was that in the guard. It was some.
No, well, game 2
was here.
they won, and that's the game he went off. And then game 3,
he had
3
a
or
game.
4. He had one game in the garden.
He
where
had a
played very
half.
well.
He had a second half. It was like the first half he didn't do anything. In the second half, he got Jared Allen involved. He was swinging the ball. He was scoring.
I think Darius would certainly Donovan can play better than he played,
Well,
and he
better.
doesn't fall into this discussion of you have to give someone a chance to fail and learn from it because he's had plenty of opportunities in the postseason, and he has to deliver. Like he's to the point. This is on him. He's got to deliver. And if this team fails in the playoffs this year, nobody's going to blame Evan, and nobody's going to blame Darius, and nobody's going to blame Jarrett. It's on Donovan.
Yep.
And he knows it. But the other guys, Evan, Darius, even a guy like Dean, Isaac Okoro, these guys that got there for the first time and went through it, you have to give them an opportunity to fail and learn from that and come back and be better. And if they're not this year, a lot of people are getting fired and traded. If they flame out again, people are getting fired and traded. But you have to give them that opportunity to learn and grow and put to practice what they learned last year.
Well, 10 seconds, then we can move on. I think the best thing they did was get Tristan Thompson because last year they got bullied inside.
Yep.
At least Tristan, even if he isn't on the floor, he can get the fire
Yes.
out of them. I think
Yes.
that veteran move was perfect.
And Niang and Strus who
Yeah.
both played a ton of deep